Mathematics, Advanced Subsidiary Level, Paper 2, 2022, Part 1. Before you start the question paper, it's very important that you go through all the instructions. Okay, now I'm just going to spare a little bit of time. I did it thoroughly previous year. I'm just going to focus on this last or this second last point. If the degree, and it's almost the same as in ordinary, okay, if the degree of accuracy is not specified in the question and if the answer is not exact, give your answer to 3 significant figures. Give answers for angle sizes to 1 decimal place, but angles in radians to 3, so that's the difference, to 3 significant figures, unless a different level of accuracy is specified in the question. Okay, now I'm going to do the same as what I said this year. My focus it's on the exam report. So I was making for you a copy of the exam report, and every time I'm just going to go thoroughly through it, because I think sometimes if you don't see it yourself, there's a few points and it's a few errors that the students or the candidates keep on making. Okay, so before I start with question 1, let's go through the general, what they are saying to you. And I think I'm going to even make it a little bit even still bigger if I can, because then you can read very nicely. Okay, so the paper was of similar standard to that of last year. The marks range between 0 and 75. It was clearly noticed that a significant number of candidates who entered this syllabus without a solid algebra foundation struggled to cope with the majority of topics. Algebra is the key, it's the basics, and you conquer it actually in ordinary level. Many candidates struggle with basic ordinary level competencies like factorization of trinomials, very important. So if you are still struggling with it, go back to ordinary level and first go and conquer it before the examination. And the basic exponential laws, which you will also see in ordinary level. It should be noted that the emphasis in AS is more on the method. This is very important. And the mathematical process, that is on the final solution. So complete methods should be shown at all times. Okay, so they focus on the method. So candidates must make sure to delete work that they do not want to be marked at the specific question. So draw a line through it if you don't want the examiner to mark it. It was often seen that the candidate approaches a problem in 2 or 3 different ways without deleting any of the work. It was also often seen that the question were replaced on the additional pages without deleting the work at the original question. So if you go to the additional pages and you want the examiner to mark that, you have to draw a line through that position on the real page. So in these cases, the work at the original question was marked. So you lose the mark. So they took the first one. Okay. So candidates should be discouraged to work in pencil first and then, this is an old problem. Please don't do it. Work in pencil and then to rewrite the work in pen. It takes so much time and you're not going to finish the question paper. So they often do not copy the pencil properly, or some accuracy is lost after the pencil is erased. In addition, it's more work and can result into candidates, this is what I said, not finishing the paper. Okay, so work in pen. It's also important when you practice for the examination or even in the term, always work in pen. If you want to do something roughly, you can take your pencil and maybe on the side just write it if you don't want too much pen. But really, it's a confidence thing. You work in pen that you have the confidence to work in pen. So centers must not provide any additional, this is very important. This is more important to the teachers now. Okay, so Centers should not provide any additional papers to the candidates. Everything must be written on that paper of yours. Candidates do their working on these papers and then just copy the answers, which results into loss of all the marks for the specific question. So please, teachers, all the examiners, please don't give extra paper. Let them write everything and just mark clearly where everything is. It is advised that answers should be left exact where possible. What does the word exact mean? It's where I will say when it stops on the calculator. Say where, for example, you get a value like 2,356 and there's nothing standing there. It stopped. That is exact. Although it's 4 significant figures, but it's exact. Then you write 2,356. Okay. Okay, let me just get the ruler again. An answer of 7/6 pi is exact. So if you can write it like that, you don't have to press it. That is 100% correct. And it's preferred above a decimal version of this. Candidates should be encouraged only to round their final answer. This is very in between full calculator display. This prevents the loss of accuracy caused by premature rounding, especially in the trigonometry questions. And there was a lot of trigonometry questions in this paper. Okay, it was noted that some candidates use calculators that can differentiate and integrate. Candidates who use these must be taught to show all the steps. You cannot just write the answer. You're not going to get all your marks of their working. No marks are awarded if only on. This is very important. If you just write only the answer, you're not going to get any marks. Okay, not even one. There stands no marks. Keep it in mind. Okay, and then let's go on. Most candidates took care to show their working, which allows them to gain marks for correct methods, even when their answers are wrong. However, candidates should be encouraged to show complete methods, especially when they are asked to prove or quoted answers. It should be emphasized that shown is not an acceptable conclusion. Candidates may not work backwards from the quoted answer. You cannot take that last and then reverse it. No, start from scratch and come to the answer that they say shown. Candidates should realize that questions are structured in an attempt to help. This is very, very important. And I think, I remember when I was in the classroom still, I always said it so many times to the learners. Question A usually help you with question B, and sometimes question B helps you with question C. So always look up if the question of A is not going to help you in B, and that's what they mean. Okay, the earlier part of the question, that's A, are often used as a subsequent part. The word hence, this is a very important word, is an indication that the previous answer must be used and it's even say must, okay? So you cannot find, they want you to use the answer, say, in, for example, A, in order to solve the specific question. Candidates must be taught how to interpret question of this nature. It should be noted that none of the questions in this paper reach hence or otherwise. It's not standing there. So you have to work with the previous, what you derived at. In the or otherwise is seen, it is an indication that the previous answer should assist the candidate to solve this question easier. But there are other methods that could be used if you see or otherwise. Okay, but be very careful if you see that. Okay, it's not so often. So, more care should be taken in the classroom with the mathematical notations and the teaching of the relevant terminology. Teachers and learners should not only concentrate on the final answers, but also on the accuracy of the mathematical writing. For example, it's often extremely difficult to decide whether a candidate means sin square x or sin 2x, and it's two different things. Okay, and especially with your double angle, so make sure you are writing. If it's sin square, then it's a little 2 on top. Okay. Teachers should please not create their own abbreviations. Don't make your own short forms of writing. Use what I write in the textbook, then it's mathematical correct. It's what you will see internationally. Okay. But don't make your own small things which is not connected internationally to mathematics. Okay. Or in the syllabus. Similar to those used in social media language that candidates are allowed to use in class. They should be taught that they may not use these abbreviations in any formal mathematic assessment. Keep to the language of pure mathematics. Teachers should take more care in the teaching of degrees and radians in class. This is very important. See what the question is saying to you. If it say degrees, then highlight it. Make a line under it. If it say radian, highlight. And then remember to switch your calculator. If you are in radians, your calculator must be switched to radians. It is not advisable to teach candidates to work only in degrees and then to convert the answer to radians. No. This is formal maths that we are busy with now. Candidates must learn how to change their calculator setting that I said to you. You have to know your calculator from degrees into radians. Don't borrow a calculator the morning before you write that you're not used to. At least work a day or two before you go and write with that specific calculator. Candidates should be taught with formula sheet in class. That is very important. Take the formula sheet, give it to in a test, in the class, put it on their desk, and that they use, because the formula sheet is there to help you, really. They should know which formulas will appear on the formula sheet. That's going to be fixed. Okay, it's not going to be every year a different one. They are really fixed. Okay, so get used to the formula sheet. Teachers, please make a copy. It's very expensive to laminate it, but if possible, yes, keep it in the class and let students work with it on a regular basis. And which formulas they need to study by heart. So that they know some of the formulas will not be on the formula sheet and they have to memorize it. It was very often seen that formulas, derivatives, and integrals appearing in the formula sheet were quoted wrongly. So you didn't take the right one at the right place. Candidates should take care not to change the given variable. For example, Q on their question paper cannot be changed to X or A. Keep to what they said. They call it in that question Q, so stay with Q. If the formula sheet is used, the variable used on the formula sheet must be replaced to the relevant unknown of the specific question. This is very, very important. So most of the times it will be theta, but in the question it will be X. Then you have to replace the theta by an X. Okay, do you understand? And I will emphasize that also when I come to the question papers. Okay, let's see if I went through all the questions. I just want to go through. And this question, as I said, I will stop after I come back. Okay, and this is the last. It seems to me it's the last part. So let's just finish it quickly. Okay, yeah. So, many candidates were very careless with the rounding instructions throughout this paper. It's always advisable to write the complete answer before they attempt to round. So, first your calculator display and then round it. Most candidates finished the paper. Oh, this is very good news. It was clear that some centers did not complete the syllabus for theme 2. So a lot of emphasis is focused on part 1 and maybe not on part 2. So try, I know it's very challenging, the time is very short, but especially for the learners, put in extra hours. Make sure that you also conquer part 2, theme 2. Okay, I'm going to now start with the question paper. Let's start with question number 1A. Now, I'm going to do this here the same as I did in ordinary level and in paper 1. I'm not going to take a copy of the textbook page, but I will refer you to the page, and even in some of this, I will refer you to a specific example also. Okay, so in the textbook, in the AS level textbook, You will find this on page 367. Okay, absolute value. And I must say, it's for me very nice if they start a question paper with an easy question, because I know you're so stressed and you make so, and if it's difficult, it's really catching you out. So thank you for the people who set up the question paper by helping the students with an easy question in the beginning. Okay, but let's start. So this is absolute value, and this is a very easy one. So if I just rewrite it, and there's more than, what I do is I'm just going to say 3x minus 1, and it's the positive option, or it's going to be, I take the absolute value bars out, and it's the negative. And I just solve that. So basically, I'm just going to say 3x equals 5, if that one goes over, or 3x equals negative 3. And then I divide 3 and I divide 3, and I get therefore that the value of x is 5 over 3, or the value of x, I divide 3, the value of x is negative 1. Okay, and that's the answer. Now, as I said, I think I want I think I'm going to finish this question, and then I will go to the exam report, because this is now very easy. Okay. Now, here comes the word. Here comes not hence or otherwise. They say hence. That means they want you to use hey. That's very, very important. Okay. Now they start with the statement. Now let's first start with the statement. If they're going to say, I can move it a little bit up. Okay, I don't want too high. So I'm going to have the absolute value 3, and I have 5 to the power of y minus 1 is equal to 4. And now I want you to compare. Now, if you compare, you see the 3, But then in the place of x, you see 5 to the power of y. Then you see the negative 1 and the bar, and you see 4. So basically, what you see is that 5 to the power, look, let me rather keep to red. 5 to the power of y, this green, is equal to x. Okay. So now I'm going to solve it. So I'm going to substitute now x. So I'm going to say 5 to the power of y equals 5 over 3. Okay. But now this is log. So to get this, I can go from indices form to log form. Again, I have a page for you that in the textbook that will help you. So I'm just going to say y. Okay. Let me rather, what I did is I put logs on both. I think sometimes it's easier for students to do it like this. Just put logs on both sides. Okay. But you could have go from the one to the other one. So y log 5 equals log 5 over 3. And then I divide by log 5, and I divide by log 5. And then I go and I press it on my calculator. So I say log, I prefer a bracket 5, divide 3, close the bracket, divide log 5 equals, and then I get y is equal, and now again the full calculator display. Let's just do exactly like the report is helping us. But then you can just end by saying therefore, and now you can go to your free significance 0.317. Okay. What will happen if it's negative 1? Can I just show you? I'm just going to show you. It's not going to work due to the negative, but I want to show you. You can do it here. You don't have to. I just show you. You can even, I'm just going to say 5 to the power of y is equal to negative 1. But do you see, as soon as you say log 5y equals, and you can even press it on the calculator. If you press on your calculator log negative 1, you get an error because log must be bigger than 0. Even log 0, if you press log 0, you're also going, so it must be bigger than 0. So not applicable, out. And I scratch it. I don't want them to look at it. I just test it. Okay. And that will be my final answer. Okay, now I want to, let's go and see what the report is telling us. Okay, so we go to the report, we go there, we come back, we're just going to say, oh, this is nice. They say it was well answered. Sadly, it was often seen that candidates choose only one of the 2 correct solutions. No, both was correct. It was also occasionally seen that the final answer was wrongly written as an inequality. That's also not correct. Teachers should take more care to teach the candidates when to test their answers. Candidates should realize that it's only necessary to test their answers if the absolute value of not equal to a constant. Okay, so if there's a constant, then it's not necessary. But go to the textbook, I'll show you there. But if it's equal to a constant, then both will be a solution. Okay, so question B, or poorly answered. Most candidates ignore the instruction of Hench and started the question from the beginning again. Sadly, it was also seen that those who opted to redo the question lacked the basic knowledge of exponential laws and very often wrongly express that, oh, you cannot. If the bases are if the indices are not the same, you cannot multiply the bases. When can you multiply? If it was, say, I want to just get a pen. Say if it's 5 multiply 5y, then the bases are the same. Are you with me then? So then you can add, but definitely not. Or if it's if I'm going to say let's say if it's 3 y multiply 5y, if the top is the same, do you see? Then you can say it's 15y. Then you keep the top and you multiply, but then the exponents must be the same. In this case, it's going to be, let me just go there, it's going to be, that exponent is 1 and it's going to be 1 plus y. Just know your rules. Very, very important. Okay. Candidates should be taught to conversion from exponential form to log form. Yes, it is expected that should be converted in one step on this level. Yes, I decided to put log, but it was easy, and I will do it later in the question paper, to just go from exponential to log form. Okay, maybe I'll just show you before I'll go there. Okay, so there was the answers, and then this 0,315. Okay, that was the final answer. Let's just go to the question paper again. Let's just see, where is it now? So I'm going to the question paper again. Can I just show you what they said there? It's just that, and I didn't do it, but you can. So if you want to go from this form, you keep the log and you keep the base. Okay, and then you just swap the two sides. So then you're going to log 5, and then you're going to say 5 over 3, and that's equal to y. Did you see? And then basically you are getting already that. And you could have left that as the answer. There I just press it on the calculator. Okay. So because on the calculator you will press it like this, but they also accept that. Okay. Question number 2. I want to make it a bit bigger. Okay. So solve this equation. Now, this is an exponential equation, very nice still. And where will I find it? I will find it on page 406. And even example 15 I wrote here. That's going to help you. Okay. So solve, this is a trinomial. The factorization is going to come in, giving your answer in the form of xa, where a is a constant. Okay. So let's just start by rewriting it. Okay. Now factorization. Now this is when I will, but you can still keep your pen. Okay, I'm going to factorize. So if I'm going to factorize, it's 2 and 1, and it looks like 1 and 8, because in group A, because I say 16 plus 1, it's that 17. The signs are the same, and it's negative, negative. And then the middle will be e to the power of x, e to the power of x. So that will be 2e to the power of x minus 1, e to the power of x minus 8, and that will be equal to 0. So that was why ordinary is so important. And if you go, please don't go in the examination and you cannot factorize. Go back to ordinary videos and conquer it. Okay, because now you can put both brackets equal to 0. Or you can say e to the power x minus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, now I solve both sides. And I have e to the power of x equals a half. Okay, so now I'm going to go from log to exponential form. But remember, if it's a e, then it's ln. Okay, so look what I do. There's the base. So ln means a base of e. And then what I do is I swap this sides. Do you see? So it's ln a half, and that's equal to x. Okay, now let's do this one. Okay, so basically they want it in this form. So I can now further go. So I can say x equals ln, and then I can say 2 to the power negative 1, because I take the 2 up, negative 1. And then I follow the rule, the power rule, and then I say ln 2, and that is x. Okay, and now it looks perfect, because look there, they want something in front and they want ln 2. That's excellent. Okay, or I just want to show you, sorry that I'm stopping, I just want to, laws. Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, I just want to that laws, where you can find the laws. Our law, yes, there on page 400. 400, I saw that, page 400. Okay, I just wanted to give you that power law. Okay, then this one, I'm doing now the same. So I ex, and now I'm going to say it's 8. And now again, from log or ln to the exponential, or actually exponential to the ln. Do you see that? So it's going to be ln, okay, because ln's base is e. Don't forget that. Okay. So, and now remember what I said, you swap this two. It's swapping. So it's going to be ln, and then it's 8, and that is going to be x. But remember, they wanted 2. Let's find the golden rule is prime factors. So I go ln 2 to the power of 3. And now that power law, it's 3 ln 2, and that's x. Okay, and that's 2 answers. Okay, so it's going to be this, or it's going to be this. So you can even end by say x is equal to negative ln 2, or x is equal to 3 ln 2. And that was the answer. Let's go to the exam report and see what they tell us there. Okay, question 2, I think we just have to go to the writing here and see what they are saying to us. They say, well answered. Teachers should take more care when disguise quadratics as though ex is equal x cannot be used as a suitable substitution, as x is already used in the question. Another variable like ex equal k must be used. Okay, if you want to do the trinomial and you want to replace. Okay, so don't use x, use rather k. I didn't use the method because I think you can handle it. You can handle the factorization without substituting it. A common mistake result from this was that x equals 8 and x equals half, which then wrongly lead to the conclusions that x equals 8 ln and x now, which was incorrect. It was often seen that candidates wrongly use e equal instead of ex equals 8. Many can also remember, if you factorize, you take the middle. That's the middle variable there. Many candidates also fail to make ex the subject of the formula from this. They only reach the stage where they get this and then wrongly introduce ln on both sides. Yes, so this is very important that in this question that you go from log form to exponential, or exponential, like in this case, to log or ln. It could be done, but then the appropriate log laws had to be used. Okay, then it was actually more difficult if you took ln on both sides, which would lead to this as a solution. It is advisable, however, to make e the subject of the formula first before it's converted from exponential form to log or ln form. Another common error was that the solution of 0.5 was often seen as impossible to solve. It's because rather work in the half, otherwise you're going to struggle taking the 2 up. Candidates must be taught that e is 0, not is bigger than 0, not e is bigger than 1. Okay, so 1 can be there. Okay, so it's no. So it means there can be a fraction. It's just bigger than 0, but there can be fractions. That's what they're saying there. Many candidates correctly reach the state where this learned, but they fail to realize that prime factors, golden rule, and then taking the 2 up, and that they only had to use the basic log laws, which is on page 400, to reach the expected solutions of this. And then I can maybe just show you. Okay. And there they actually show you the steps, and then they show you the final answer. And what I want you to see here is they show you for the factorization, they gave you 1 mark. If you come to this 2, they gave you another mark. If you came to this, and then for the finals, they give you 1 mark if you have both correct. Okay, so this is why I'm showing you this here, the exam report, because I want you also to see where are they going to allocate the different marks. And then you can see why the workout solutions are so important. As your final exams approach, I want to highlight the importance of the y equals mx+c mathematics textbooks. If you don't have them yet, you can find them at the following bookshops. These textbooks will be your reliable study companions, guiding you towards mathematical success. For educators aiming for exceptional maths exam results, start using the y equals mx+c mathematics textbooks used by leading schools in your classroom. They are part of the NEET catalogue and can be easily obtained within your ministry's textbook budget. Make sure to communicate your request to your region's procurement department to empower your learners with the best educational resources. Furthermore, schools have the option to place direct orders with us, and we offer bulk order discounts. Reach out to us via email at the address below. Best of luck in your maths journey.